Have you ever heard of weapons so bizarre, so unconventional that they seem straight out of a science fiction novel? World War II was not just a battleground for traditional tanks and planes, but also a proving ground for some of the strangest, most innovative weaponry ever conceived. Join us as we dive into the top 7 weirdest weapons from World War II. These stories are not only fascinating but also a testament to human ingenuity and desperation during times of conflict. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you never miss an exciting story from history. Let's start with number 7 on our list, the panjandrum. During the height of World War II, the British military faced the daunting challenge of breaching the formidable Atlantic Wall defenses erected by Nazi Germany along the coast of France. Traditional methods of assault seemed inadequate for the task, prompting British engineers to think outside the box. Thus, the panjandrum was born. Imagine a massive rocket-propelled wheel filled with explosives rolling towards enemy fortifications. This was the basic concept behind the panjandrum. It was an enormous drum-like device, nearly 10 feet in diameter, mounted with a series of rockets around its circumference. The idea was simple: launch the panjandrum from a landing craft, let it roll towards the beach defenses, and upon impact, the explosives would detonate, creating a breach for the invading Allied forces. In theory, the panjandrum sounded like a game-changer. However, the practical implementation was far from perfect. During trials, the panjandrum proved to be wildly unpredictable. On several occasions it veered off course, sometimes turning back towards the launching area, posing a significant threat to its own operators. The footage from these tests is both fascinating and terrifying, showcasing the uncontrollable nature of the device. Despite its innovative design, the panjandrum was ultimately deemed too dangerous and unreliable for actual combat use. The project was abandoned, but the panjandrum remains a symbol of the lengths to which the British were willing to go to overcome the seemingly insurmountable obstacles posed by the war. It's a testament to the creativity and desperation that characterized much of the weapon development during World War II. Number 2, bat bombs. The United States too had its share of unconventional weapon ideas, one of the most peculiar being the bat bomb. This ingenious yet bizarre concept aimed to utilize bats as delivery mechanisms for incendiary devices to create chaos and destruction behind enemy lines. The idea originated from a Pennsylvania dentist named Dr. Little S. Adams, who was inspired by a trip to Carlsbad Caverns, where he observed thousands of bats roosting. He proposed attaching tiny incendiary bombs to bats and releasing them over Japanese cities. The bats, seeking shelter at dawn, would roost in attics and other structures, and the bombs would ignite, causing widespread fires. The concept intrigued military planners, and the project was given the green light. Thousands of Mexican free-tailed bats were captured and fitted with miniature bombs. Testing began at the Carlsbad Army Airfield Auxiliary Air Base. The bats were loaded into bomb-shaped casings and dropped from planes. Upon release, they would disperse and seek out hiding places, and after a time delay, the incendiary devices would ignite. The tests showed promise, with several successful demonstrations of the bat's ability to start fires. However, the project encountered several challenges. One notable incident involved a mishap where some of the armed bats were accidentally released, causing a hangar and a general's car to catch fire. Despite the initial success, the bat bomb project, officially known as Project X-ray, was eventually shelved in favor of more immediate solutions, like the atomic bomb. Nevertheless, the bat bomb remains one of the most imaginative and unusual weapon concepts ever developed, highlighting the innovative thinking and sometimes desperate measures employed during the war. Number 3, the pigeon-guided missile. In the quest for more accurate and effective weaponry, the U.S. military explored a variety of guidance systems, one of the most unusual being the pigeon-guided missile. This concept was the brainchild of renowned psychologist B.F. Skinner, known for his work in behaviorism. Skinner proposed using pigeons to guide missiles to their targets. The idea was based on the principle of operant conditioning, where the pigeons were trained to peck at a target on a screen. The screen was connected to the missile's guidance system, and the pecking would adjust the missile's flight path to keep it on course. The project, dubbed Project Pigeon, involved placing pigeons inside the nose of a missile. They were trained to recognize and peck at specific targets, such as enemy ships or buildings. When released, the pigeons would guide the missile by pecking at the image of the target on the screen, ensuring it stayed on track. Remarkably, the pigeons proved to be highly accurate in controlled tests. Skinner's pigeons could successfully guide a simulated missile to a target with surprising precision. However, the project faced skepticism and logistical challenges. Many in the military and scientific community found it difficult to take the concept seriously, and concerns about the practicality and ethical implications of using animals in such a manner led to the project's eventual cancellation. Despite its failure to reach operational status, the Pigeon-guided missile is a fascinating example of unconventional thinking in weapon development. It underscores the innovative and sometimes eccentric approaches considered during World War II in the pursuit of military superiority. Amid the chaos and destruction of World War II, Nazi Germany sought to create superweapons that would strike fear into the hearts of their enemies and turn the tide of the war. One of the most impressive and intimidating of these was the Gustav gun, also known as the Schwerer Gustav. The Gustav gun was an enormous railway gun, one of the largest artillery pieces ever constructed. It was designed by the German arms manufacturer Krupp and intended to penetrate the heavily fortified defenses of the French Maginot Line. The gun weighed nearly 1,350 tons and required a specially constructed railway track for transportation and operation. With a barrel length of 32.5 meters, or 107 feet, and capable of firing shells weighing up to 7 tons over a distance of 29 miles, the Gustav gun was a marvel of engineering. The shells it fired were capable of penetrating up to 7 meters or 23 feet of reinforced concrete or 1 meter or 3.3 feet of steel armor. Despite its impressive specifications, the Gustav gun faced several practical challenges. Its immense size made it incredibly difficult to transport and set up. It required a crew of 250 men and several weeks to assemble. Moreover, its slow rate of fire and vulnerability to aerial attacks limited its effectiveness on the battlefield. The Gustav gun saw limited use during the war. It was deployed during the siege of Sevastopol in 1942, where it was used to bombard Soviet fortifications. The gun's massive shells caused significant damage, but its operational impact was minimal compared to the logistical effort required to deploy it. Ultimately, the Gustav gun was more a symbol of Nazi Germany's ambition and engineering prowess than a decisive weapon of war. Its sheer size and power were intended to intimidate, but its practical limitations prevented it from becoming a game-changer on the battlefield. Nevertheless, the Gustav gun remains a fascinating and awe-inspiring example of the extreme measures taken during World War II. In the heat of battle, the ability to shoot around corners without exposing oneself to enemy fire would be a significant advantage. The Germans, always looking for an edge in combat, developed a device known as the Krummlauf to achieve this. The Krummlauf was a curved barrel attachment designed for the Sturmgewehr 44 assault rifle. This innovative accessory allowed soldiers to fire their weapons around corners, from behind cover, or even from inside armored vehicles without exposing themselves to return fire. The Krummlauf came in several versions with varying degrees of curvature, typically ranging from 30 to 90 degrees. It featured a periscope-like sighting device, enabling the shooter to aim accurately despite the barrel's curve. The concept was revolutionary, and had the potential to change urban warfare tactics significantly. However, the Krummlauf faced several practical challenges. The curved barrel caused significant stress on the bullets, often resulting in reduced accuracy and increased wear on the weapon. Bullets could shatter or lose velocity as they traveled through the curved section, diminishing the intended effectiveness of the device. Moreover, the attachment itself was cumbersome and could make the weapon difficult to handle. Despite these drawbacks, the Krummlauf was used in limited numbers, primarily on the Eastern Front and during the final stages of the war. While it didn't revolutionize combat as intended, it remains a notable example of the innovative and sometimes desperate measures taken by the German military in their quest for battlefield superiority. The Krummlauf's legacy is one of ingenuity and ambition, highlighting the constant search for new ways to gain an advantage in warfare. It serves as a reminder of the relentless drive for innovation, even in the most challenging and dangerous of times. Among the various superweapons developed by Nazi Germany, the V3 cannon, also known as the London gun, stands out for its ambitious design and intended purpose. Unlike the more conventional V1 and V2 rockets, the V3 was a massive multi-chambered cannon designed to bombard London from mainland Europe. The V3 cannon utilized a series of auxiliary charges placed along the length of the barrel to propel shells at extremely high velocities. This method, known as multi-charge or high-pressure pump technology, allowed the cannon to achieve ranges far beyond those of traditional artillery. The primary objective was to create a weapon capable of delivering a continuous bombardment on London, causing widespread damage and panic. Construction of the V3 cannon began in northern France, near the town of Mimoyec. The site featured several inclined tunnels, each intended to house a V3 barrel. However, the project faced numerous technical and logistical challenges. The complexity of the design, coupled with the difficulty of coordinating multiple charges, made the weapon's development slow and problematic. Despite these challenges, the Germans managed to conduct a few test firings. However, the results were disappointing. The V3 lacked the accuracy and reliability needed for effective bombardment. Additionally, Allied intelligence discovered the V3 installation, and it became a priority target for bombing raids. In July 1944, a devastating attack by the Royal Air Force severely damaged the site, effectively ending the V3 project. Although the V3 cannon never became operational, its ambitious design and the technological hurdles it presented are a testament to the lengths to which Nazi Germany was willing to go to achieve its strategic goals. The V3 represents the extreme measures and innovative thinking that characterized much of the weapon development during World War II, even if the results were ultimately unsuccessful. As World War II progressed, the German military explored increasingly unconventional weapons in their quest for an advantage. One of the most peculiar and experimental of these was the Windkanone, or wind cannon. This unique weapon aimed to use compressed air to disrupt and destroy enemy aircraft. The Windkanone was developed by the German company Rheinmetall Borsig. It consisted of a large barrel and a massive chamber designed to store and rapidly release compressed air. The idea was to create a powerful vortex or shockwave of air that could knock enemy planes out of the sky or at least disrupt their flight enough to make them vulnerable to other forms of attack. Testing of the Windkanone took place at Hillersleben, a military proving ground in Germany. Initial tests showed that the weapon could generate a significant blast of air, capable of damaging or even destroying wooden structures. However, the results against actual aircraft were far less impressive. The air blast's effect on planes was minimal, failing to cause the desired disruption or damage. Despite its innovative approach, the Windkanone faced several critical limitations. The weapon's range was limited, and its effectiveness was highly dependent on precise aiming and favorable environmental conditions. Moreover, the rapid advancements in aircraft speed and durability made the Windkanone increasingly obsolete as the war progressed. Ultimately, the Windkanone project was abandoned due to its impracticality and lack of effectiveness. However, it remains a fascinating example of the experimental and unconventional weaponry pursued by Nazi Germany during World War II. The Windkanone's development reflects the desperation and ingenuity of the time, as engineers and scientists sought out any possible means to gain an edge in the conflict. These bizarre and inventive weapons highlight the lengths to which nations will go in times of desperation and war. From rocket-propelled explosive wheels to bat bombs and pigeon-guided missiles, the creativity and innovation of the time knew no bounds. While many of these ideas never reached their full potential or saw significant use, they remain fascinating examples of human ingenuity and the relentless drive for superiority in times of conflict. The stories of these unusual weapons also serve as a reminder of the complexity and unpredictability of war. Despite the best efforts and intentions, many of these weapons failed to achieve their intended goals, often due to practical limitations or unforeseen challenges. Yet, they left a lasting legacy in the annals of military history, inspiring future generations of inventors and engineers. If you found this exploration of World War II's weirdest weapons intriguing, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell. We have many more fascinating stories from history to share with you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.